2 years after the failure of Lehman Brothers, questions still remain over what would or could happen the next time a too-big-to-fail firm finds itself in trouble. Our next guest, pressing for answers, joining us this morning, Representative Spencer Bachus, ranking member of the House Financial Services Committee. Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning, Carl.
This hearing this morning, the Capital Markets Subcommittee, the future of housing finance, a progress update on the GSEs. Some people might think that's a contradiction in term, the word progress and the word GSE. Is it?
Well, there has been no progress. All the Democrats have done is plan to do something about Fannie and Freddie, but they've done absolutely nothing, and they continue to obligate the American taxpayers for future losses.
How much encouragement do you take in some of the baby steps they have made, selling assets, at least projecting paying back the American taxpayer at some point? Do you believe any of it?
No, I think it's just a promise that won't be fulfilled. In fact, Fannie and Freddie, one thing that scares me, they've started making no down payment loans again with people with less than perfect credit. Now, they will come in today and they'll say we're not going to do any of these things, but they are doing it. Affordable Advantage program is an exotic mortgage program with no down payment. And so we're going to create the next housing bubble, even as we're having deflation in the housing market. We're already laying the foundation for the next government bailout.
How much of that arguably risky behavior do we kind of need to keep the housing market from falling any farther?
Well, they say that, you know, we have to subsidize housing or the housing market will continue to sink. But the truth is, when the government starts trying to manipulate the market and manipulate behavior and really bail out those that can't afford a house, that's never good. In fact, that's the message you're hearing around the country, is quit spending my money to help someone else. Quit being a rescuer. I saw where Governor Rendell is talking about bailing out the city of Harrisburg. The government is just someone that comes in and bails people out. People are sick of that. They're sick of having to pay someone's mortgage or subsidize someone's mortgage when they pay their own.
Well, Congressman, the thing I don't understand is how anybody forgets that if you make a 100% mortgage loan, you're really 10% underwater day one, because the real estate brokerage costs, the costs of foreclosing and all that are more or less around 10%. So 100% loan to value, so-called, is really 110 or 111%. And since in many states the homeowner can walk away from the mortgage with no further liability, what they're really doing is making a 30-year unsecured loan, non-recourse. And to me, that makes no sense whatsoever.
Absolutely, Wilbur. And we made that point during the Dodd-Frank bill. We said you need to have a down payment and you need to have good credit history, and they refused to put those things in. And one thing they argued is, some of these mortgages won't be made, but it's just good common sense. And have they already forgotten that we got into trouble by making these same loans by having weak underwriting standards? Yet they even refused in Dodd-Frank to say that Fannie and Freddie could not continue to make no down payment loans.
Right. Well, the thing I don't understand is why anybody thinks you're doing a family a favor to stuff them into a house that they can't afford. Because when it does lead to foreclosure, that's got to be the most traumatic thing that can happen to a family.
Oh, absolutely. It sets them up for failure. They say, well, do you want these people to rent? Yes, a lot of people should rent. The worst thing you can do to them is put them in a home that they can't afford and have the family go through just what you've described.
Oh.
Congressman, hope you won't mind a couple questions about the primary day, which obviously everybody's buzzing about this morning. Christine O'Donnell, when you couple that with Joe Miller, when you couple that with Rand Paul, what are the feelings in the GOP establishment about some of these candidates, and can they win in November?
Well, the American people make those decisions, not the GOP establishment. And I tell you, a lot of us in Washington are very, we're mad too. we share that feeling. I think what it says is a message to the Democrats that quit spending our money, get your hand out of our pocket, quit talking about raising taxes. You know, we don't want more government. We don't want the government running big corporations. Get out of the bailout business. Quit this too big to fail idea. I'm not too big to fail. The American people know that what's happening is just not fair, and you're experiencing a revolution. And, you know, we all better listen to that.
Were you surprised at Castle's loss?
Well, I was. But, you know, if you look at a lot of the programs that we pushed, Mike voted against them. For instance, cap and tax. He wanted, you know, and I love Mike, and yes, I would have preferred Mike to have won. But, you know, I don't make those decisions. The Republican voters in Delaware made those decisions. You know, and don't, you know, anytime you start arguing with the people and say the people made a mistake, you know, it's the people's government. It's not the Republican Party's government. It's not the media's government. And, you know, thank goodness in America these things are decided at the ballot box.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out how that works in just a couple of months now. Congressman, we'll be watching the hearings today.
Thank you. But we will find out. And I think what you're going to find out is the American people are mad and they're not going to take it anymore. And they're going to kick this free spending, tax-raising Democratic Party out of the majority.
Even sometimes if they are technically a Republican, right?
Well, yes, that's right. But, you know, I don't think they're going to care. If you've got an R behind your name, that's not going to protect you if you've been acting like a big spending socialist Democrat.
Congressman, we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for dropping by.
Thank
Spencer Bachus joining us from D.C.